military background. My father was 25 years drill sergeant, traveled around the world. I was born at Luke Air Force Base a long time ago, many moons ago. So we traveled around, grew up in Hawaii, had the opportunity to play some football, had a great career as most athletes, got injured, but continued learning and growing with personal development and education. And so I obtained my bachelor's degree in communications. So I like to obviously talk to people, get to know people. It's a great tool just to find out more information about people. And so, but basically my brother and sister are military as well. They have gone through themselves, have been involved in, so you're not distracted watching me. It's one of the activities I like to do, go skydiving once in a while. But people are very, very diligent, taking care of their taxes, their filing their taxes on time, their credit, their income in general, just basically encompassing all that on a daily basis, watching what they do and how they spend their money. These individuals, very diligent, like I mentioned. Well, my brother actually ended up becoming a victim of identity theft. Through all that due diligence, he still was a victim. And the reason why is because someone down the street had some issues, decided to break into his mailbox, stole the information. Next thing you know is he's getting a bill in the mail for $1,000. Had no idea what was taking place, but needless to say, he was in the process of actually buying a home and was unable to do so because of that. So identity theft protection is very, very important for a lot of people in a lot of different areas because of the fact that, especially if you're looking at purchasing a home, you don't want that information compromised. And there are a lot of services out there that they do a great job. Don't get me wrong. They all do credit monitoring. That is available for you. However, there's only one service that I found that really does a phenomenal job in credit restoration, or excuse me, in identity theft restoration, and that's Kroll, who has teamed up with Prepaid Legal. Has anybody heard of that? Kroll? Has anybody heard of Kroll? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that service is a huge service, known worldwide. They're actually the #1 risk management company in the world. They've helped in a variety of areas in our recent history. One of them being Saddam Hussein going through his process of finding the money that he had procured in that way, and finding that information, bringing it back so it's available for us to decipher. But I want to watch this short video. I want to show this to you guys real quick. Take a look at it, and then we'll talk about some questions afterwards if you do have any, okay? That's usually what takes place anyways. They basically hand you a packet and say, get back to us. With Kroll, however, that situation is handled by them. You're assigned a licensed investigator that comes in and does that heavy lifting for you. So we'll take a look at that.
I found out something else about maybe 2 years ago. I had subscribed to LifeLock.
LifeLock, okay.
And yeah, that didn't work.
Yeah.
And I just received my class action lawsuit check last week for $10.87.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
So we'll spend it all on one
Hey.
place.
So Keith, what would be the difference between, say, LifeLock and Kroll? Because I see all these commercials. They sponsored the WNBA team out here.
That's
so
correct.
What would be the difference? I mean, aren't they both, identity theft protection companies? I mean, what would be the difference?
You're absolutely right. They both are identity theft protection services. The biggest difference, though, is the restoration process. If you are a victim for any reason, basically the difference between the two companies is one's going to hand you a packet and one's going to hand you a phone number, which is Kroll, to contact that licensed investigator to get on board with you and go through every aspect of your personal history to get that taken care of. There's a lot of ways that we contact, like you're calling the bank. You're probably talking to a customer service rep. Then you have to talk to his manager. There's hoops that we have to go through to get in contact with those individuals. With Kroll, the licensed investigator is able to go through basically, if you will, the back door, if you will. And because they have that information already available, they have those relationships in place where they can go through and talk to those different repositories. The three big ones like we talked about are the 10 mentioned earlier, to get your information secured and corrected. So
now you had mentioned something. You said restoration. Now,
yes, sir.
What's the difference? You know, because I hear credit monitoring, credit restoration. Did you hit on that? What's the difference in that?
Credit monitoring basically is they're going to monitor your credit. Somebody actually obtains your Social Security number and says, you know, they use it for some reason. They get a credit card, they buy a car. Even for instances, they buy houses, unfortunately, in people's names. If that does take place, they're going to send you an alert. That can be via email, that can be a text message, it can be a phone call, it could be through snail mail. They're going to contact you and let you know somebody's using your information. Is this you? And they're going to call back and say no. Well, at that point, it's a little too late. Your information's already been compromised. Okay, so now it's time for the cleanup now. Okay, how did this person get my information? Who else has my information? Where else may it be? We need to find a solution to these questions at this time to get that plugged up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because that information is out like a funnel. And so if it gets out to the general public, it's going to be out, you know, and everyone's going to have it. You want to make sure that you have a restoration service like Kroll that's going to have the investigator come in and investigate the different areas of your life.